Uh, so, social investing communities, the subject of my keynote today is social investing communities reduce risk and increase upside for startups. What am I? I'm a visionary analyst with 41 years of experience in the financial markets. And what's a visionary financial analyst? Well, it's completely different than a regular financial analyst, because what I do is I research the past to predict the future. So for example, in 2001, I came out, when Enron went bankrupt, everybody remember that in 2001? Enron went bankrupt. I went in and did an autopsy on Enron to see what could have caused this bankruptcy, because the company was a high flyer. It was the equivalent of the Tesla of that day. And I was so shocked that this company could have 27 Wall Street buy recommendations on it in the summer of 2001 and be bankrupt by December of 2001. It just fell from $55 straight into bankruptcy. So I went in and did an autopsy on it, and after doing all my work on it and researching it, I was able to figure out what caused this, what you could have looked at, analyzed to know that it was going out of business. And then I took that and I created an algorithm out of it, and then I used that algorithm to predict the collapse of Lehman Brothers, Merrill Lynch, and Bear Stearns in my September 2007 magazine article here. And we all know what happened to those. But here's what I said. I said, I believe that there will be a day of reckoning. It will be sooner rather than later, and that day will be ugly for the 5 largest brokers. And sure enough, that's what happened. Here's another example of a recent crash that I predicted, which is the most recent October crash. I went in and did a serious analysis in 2016 on the crash of 2008 and the crash of the dot-com bubble bursting in 2001, and I was able to develop an algorithm that predicted the Brexit crash in 2016, and then this algorithm predicted the October crash to the day. You can see perfect storm brewing for possible market crash next week. That was on Friday, the 5th of October. And the market entered into a crash on Wednesday, October the 10th, the very next week. So that's another one of my algorithms that I developed, that I researched the past to predict the future. The next one here is Almost Family. Let me tell you about this one. This was a startup that I underwrote as an investment banker on Wall Street. And when I underwrote it, the reason why I underwrote it, I had done some research on KinderCare, which was the first publicly traded child daycare center. And in the 60s, after the war, post-war in the 60s, child daycare, when women started working, became all of a sudden a booming industry. And KinderCare was the leader of that industry. And KinderCare shares went up 20 times in value in 10 years. So I'd done all this research on KinderCare. So one day a guy comes into my office and he says, listen, I've got an idea for you. He said, I've got an adult daycare opportunity. And I said to him, oh, well, tell me all about it. And it basically was the exact opposite of child daycare, except you're taking care of 70-year-old people instead of children. And I said, why not? That makes all the sense in the world. So I funded it as a startup, underwrote its IPO, and it was just bought out last year by LHC Group, another public company. It's been public all these years and went to $800 million in sales. So another example, this is what I do. I do research on the past to predict the future.